So now we're going to go over the HVAC connection for the Scent Machine Professional. Here I've already got my scent machine mounted near my duct where I want to put the scent into my duct. I've used my handy dandy template that comes with the machine where I was able to take this where I was going to mount the machine, drill my 2 holes, and then just mount my machine in those teardrop holes on the back. So I'm all mounted up. I'm going to need 110 power. Doesn't take a lot of power, so just a shared circuit will be fine. To connect it to the duct, I'm going to replace the nozzle with the hose connection that comes with every machine. Make sure that is nice and tight. And then my hose that comes with the machine is about 4 feet long. We don't want to go longer than that because then we'll get too much condensation as we're trying to deliver scent through this hose. Every hose comes with a grommet, and that grommet requires that a half-inch hole be drilled in the side of the duct, which I've already done here. I drilled the half-inch hole and I pressed the grommet into that hole so that it can securely hold the tube. Take my tube and I'm going to pop it down in there. Pop! And now that tube won't come out unless I press down on this collar to release the tube. So if I press down on that collar, then that tube will come right out. But I'm going to press it down until I feel that pop where it's nice and seated in there. And now, if I were to just run, since I was able to get my machine close to the duct, if I were to just run my fragrance tube like that, I would have a problem because any condensation of fragrance coming through here would get trapped here and again here and not be able to flow back into the canister. So I'm going to trim this to length so that I can have a nice constant slope going back into the machine, and then I'm going to allow just a couple of inches to deliver that scent into the duct. So let me size that up, and then I'll trim that tube there and push it into the duct a couple of inches, and you see now I'm good to go, where I'm delivering the scent in here in front of my fan, and I've got a way for the fragrance to go back into the canister if there's any condensation. And now I'm ready to scent. So if I turn on my scent machine and it gets done finding the network, now the scent is going up the hose and into the duct. And you can kind of see the scent coming out of there. Basically there, you're done. Even if you have a thermostat where your fan only comes on a couple of times a day, that's fine. You won't get any scent buildup. It'll just deliver the scent into your ductwork and spread out through your ductwork. And then when your fan comes on, it will deliver the scent throughout your space. Wherever your air conditioner hits, you'll smell the scent. Now, if you do have a system where you don't have a low airflow setting that you can leave it on to constantly scent, or it just is completely off for more than a day at a time, then you should add the optional air switch. And this air switch, when connected to the machine, tells the machine when there's no flow in the duct. Here I've already mounted my air switch near the duct, and I've mounted it so that it's vertical. Doesn't matter if it's like that or like that, as long as it's in a vertical plane. It's got that rocker in there, that rocker switch for pressure sensitivity is going to do the trick. The air switch has 2 barbs. This one that's facing me is the low pressure barb. So if I were putting this tube between your filter and your fan for your air conditioner, well, that's a low pressure zone because it's sucking air from the air filter and pulling it through the fan. That's low pressure. So I'm going to want my hose to be on this barb to sense low pressure. Here I'm just putting it in the same duct after the fan, right along with the fragrance tube. So I'm going to put it on the high pressure barb so it senses high pressure. I've already trimmed this tube a bit, but this one doesn't get condensation, so I'm not concerned about any bellies or anything. I just need to get that hose in there a couple of inches so it can sense the change of air pressure when the fan comes on. I'm just going to make my electrical connection right into the machine. There's no cover to remove or anything. It's just that opening by the power switch on the machine, and it connects the air switch. Sometimes the air switch will not be able to detect the change in pressure, especially in residential systems where air pressure is relatively low in the duct. If you ever have this configuration where you're using the air switch and your machine is not actually diffusing scent when it says it's working, 999 times out of 1,000, it's your air switch. To troubleshoot that, just disconnect your air switch, wait for the next cycle on the machine, and it should diffuse just fine. If you're having a problem with your air switch not being strong enough, I would suggest running another tube. This is standard 3/8 tube. You can get it at Home Depot, or we can provide it for you. I would run another tube from the low pressure side to wherever you put your filter and go between your filter and the fan. So now the low pressure side is pulling on the switch and the high pressure side is pushing on the switch, and that should get that air switch triggered so that it can properly tell your machine when you have air in the duct. And that's it. It's as simple as that.